Nick.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music in Floral. Today, to do a 2010 album. This just came out. It's one of our favorite bands. Kings of Leon, Come Around Sundown. Ugh, it's the first one to stray from their normal album artwork.
That's true.
It is.
Good point.
And there's a little bit of difference in this one. You know, this is their 5th album, Kings of Leon. We've reviewed 2 others. We reviewed Aha Shake Heartbreak and Because of the Times. There's one in between those two, Only by the Night, and then there's this one. Only by the Night, they had a couple singles on that one that got a lot of airtime.
Yeah,
and
won them a Grammy.
Yeah, won them a Grammy, which is saying something because it's probably their weakest album so far, arguably. And the thing about Kings of Leon is that they're not afraid to have a very unique sound, but their sound is getting less unique as they get older, and that's something that is a bit of concern to old school Kings of Leon fans and music critics alike, because if you're doing stuff that's already been done before, if your sound is getting more and more simple on every album, as I'm going to argue it is on Come Around Sundown, then that's something that is going to detract people. It seems, moreover, that Kings of Leon is tending, Tom, and tell me if you agree with me, but it seems like they're tending and trending to kind of be going after those new fans, not the fans who are gonna hear them on the radio and want a more polished mainstream sound.
And I think that's a good point. But it's interesting with this album because so far, from what I've observed, I mean, you never know what little corner of the radio market we're getting here in central Iowa.
That's good.
But I don't think this album so far has been even as radio or commercially successful as Only by the Night was. But they definitely kind of went in that direction. Now, I think compared to Only by the Night, they're putting a little bit more of the southern influences in here with tracks like Back Down South and even like Mi Amigo and Pickup Truck. But not all of them are that way. Especially in the guitar. The guitar, now, a little pun here, but I feel like the guitars kind of lost their edge, and in doing so, started sounding like the Edge.
I actually wrote that down.
Are you serious?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
All right, well, we're agreeing on that then. A lot more reverbed out. They're going for that arena-style sound where they're just kind of shredding it, but instead of shredding it in a raw southern rock way, they're shredding it in a and spreading out to the back seats of the arena,
And something that you mentioned, there is a southern element to this, but it's on the... I feel like this album is very segregated. There's 13 tracks on this album, and it's about split right down the middle. The first 6 tracks, I think, are totally way more... It literally sounds like Oasis or even I got like the Doves, very Brit rock sounding. YouTube, those are the 6 songs that I really felt like it was like is the Edge playing with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like those songs are just, their sound is so stripped down, and their song structures is just verse, chorus, verse. It's just and they're good songs. And Kings of Leon are very good at executing their songs and making. We're saying execute a lot today.
Yeah.
And making these really pretty Brit rock songs. But the thing is that after track 6, you're so sick of it because it's the same. It's literally, it feels like a carbon copy just over and over and over again. I mean, I just get bored by track 5 in The Face, and track 6 The Immortals. But then track 7 goes Back Down South, and then that's where it starts to get a little bit of a change up. They start to the songs I think are more interesting on the back half of the album, more kind of expansive in the fact that they're searching for like pushing their sound a little bit. And they're getting back to their southern roots. It's something I didn't even notice before.
Yes.
But anyways, what else do you think?
It's definitely interesting to see the progression of this band because their first 2 albums were so raw, like a lot more garage rock sound, very short songs, just kind of thrashy and fun. And now they've evolved into this, but what's interesting is the progression because of the Times was an album for them that was like being torn between those 2 sounds, and I mean, to tell you the truth, there are songs from Because of the Times that could have fit on their previous 2 albums, songs from Because of the Times that could have fit on these more recent 2 albums. But I think it's too bad that they've I don't want to say too bad that they've gone in this direction because that makes it sound like this is bad. I don't think this is bad. I don't think there's anything on here that's offensively terrible.
Right.
It's an enjoyable album.
Right.
I like listening to it, but at the same time, there's a lot of bias there because I was so into their early stuff that it's like, where are they going to go from here? And I think that's what they're going to have problems with, is that I think that they can make another album like Because of the Times that will please both sides of their fan base, the old and the new. I just don't think they've quite done it here.
No, and it's almost like what they tried to do, Tom, is they took 2 different EPs. The first 6 are for those new fans who were big Only by the Night fans, and the back 7 are for the old school fans who are gonna like more expansive and you know, not soul searching, but you know, for lack of a better term, experimental stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like there's these 2 EPs that are just mashed together, and I really, like, as an album experience, it just doesn't work that well. Now, still, there's some really good songwriting on here that it'd be stupid not to point out, and there's a lot, I feel like this is more serious, it's more emotive all the way through the album. And that's cool, but I really feel like you should never sacrifice the quality of the album to accomplish these things. And now, one thing I did like is on the back half, which I obviously preferred, you know, the guitars actually started to sound a lot like the guitars, Led Zeppelin's guitars on Physical Graffiti.
They got to be a little more raw.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of really, you know, Zeppelin, you know, that kind of grungy guitar sound, southern guitar sound, come through on the back half that I liked. But just overall, just the whole 2 EP thing mashed together, I feel like that never works. I don't know why bands try to think that's a good idea. It just doesn't work. They could have rearranged this album in such a fashion that it would have really been a nice, palatable experience. But they just didn't.
Track order is very important, and this really does seem to have 2 clear sides. Maybe it would have worked better for that reason if it's on vinyl.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, good call. And my last real criticism of it is the vocalist. What the hell? Is he sleeping? There's just no edge to his voice anymore.
And that's what brought out a lot of great things. I mean, you listen to like...
anything on a Hot Shake Heartbreak? Anything?
Or anything from Youth and Young Manhood. And yeah, anything from Hot Shake Heartbreak. Songs like Charmer from Because of the Times. Right. I mean... That's not, that vocal style, that aggression, that energy is not really
and
here.
He's just singing here, and yeah, you know, there's some stylistic things that are still there, but I really don't feel like until the last track that his vocals really live up to his full potential, and I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. I feel like that's something that's really holding the cohesiveness of this album.
But... the bass still kicks ass.
Yeah, the production.
The bass is still awesome.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the guitar work, a lot of the just pretty much all the instrumentals are fantastic, and that's something that's you're gonna get with almost all Kings of Leon albums. Tom, my favorite tracks: track 7, Back Down South; track 12 and 13, Mi Amigo; and Pickup Truck.
I'm gonna go tracks 1, The End; track 3, Pyro; and then track 10, Pony Up.
Now, let us know what you think. Do you guys feel like this is 2 EPs mashed together? Do you see where we're coming from? Do you disagree? Now, do you love this? Do you think it's a step up? Do you prefer this over their older material? We want to know, and why. www.velocitiesmusic.com or at our YouTube channel down there in the box.
We gotta score it still.
We do. Well, I feel like, Tom, this is our classic upper 60s. Yep. So I feel like, you know, we talked about this a little earlier. I'm gonna go 69.
I'm also gonna go 69.
And I feel like we're really in congruence here. What do you guys think? Let us know. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
We are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.